sky right before my eyes, just like the sea moves me every time, calling to me, begging me. Reality reminds me I still want you. I want you. I still want you.
Hey hoes, I'm Crit,
I'm Donato.
And I'm Vi.
and welcome to Island Fever, where grown-ass Pasifika people talk about doing grown things. And today we're here at the beautiful Kaimana Beach Hotel. Thanks to our sponsors, Kaimana Beach Hotel, the Ioane Foundation, and Don't Drink the Water in American Samoa. And no, we're not talking shit about American Samoa. That's the name of the cafe. Holla! Today, our overarching question that we want to answer is how much of my personal life should I share online? And a lot of that has to do with branding. And who better to talk about branding than one of the greatest brands in Hawaii itself, Punky Aloha, aka Shar Tui'asoa. What's up, little mama?
Thank you, thank you.
Welcome, Shar. Immediately when we landed in Hawaii, getting to meet your family, getting to go through an exercise with folks at the house to learn about art and practice. And then even to be here at Kaimana Beach Hotel, where in my room, your art is also reflected back to me. So I feel like, you have been that driving force behind this travel experience so far, and we're just grateful to get to talk to you today on the pod.
Hell yeah. And a fangirl moment, right? For those of y'all like me who know Shar through social media and through your art, it's beautiful to sit with your spirit and your soul today. So I'm excited to sit with you and know who you are behind Punky Aloha.
Oh my God! Wow!
The Island Fever treatment, honey.
Yes.
Like, well, damn, let me up, let me breathe.
Thank you very much.
And we know, like, we used to seeing Shar with a nice big bun on top of her hair, but, we're switching it up today. We got a little...
I don't know what's going on with my hair ever, so
It's looking good.
that's
I'm like,
it
look
for now.
amazing.
Give it an hour.
oh my God. Wait, so talking about the Punky Aloha brand, I thought it'd be a fun exercise for us to, rather than me asking you, how would you describe your brand? We could ask each other what we perceive each other's brands to be. So I'll get you to start, Donato and Vi, if you want to
Okay.
talk about
Yes.
what you think their brand is.
Damn, I want to talk about your brand, but all right.
Okay, so I'll go first
Yeah,
to
go
describe Vi's brand. Vi's brand for me, one is very educational. You lean heavily into promoting therapy as a queer Samoan therapist. Easy. Because there isn't anyone else that, at least I know to this day, with such heavy, clear, concise, and healing style branding. Your brand colors make me feel very relaxed and calming. One of the things I remember when we first met was that I reached out to you in the DMs and I was complimenting you on your website. I was impressed that not only, were you someone that, because we see this often in creators, they start with just the name, right? But like actually building the infrastructure to sustain that, right? So your website, exquisite. You had merch on down, and I was like, okay, period. This is someone I want to get to know and whose mind I need to take notes from because you were already doing it, and then it helped me get inspired to launch my own website. So yeah,
How the hell am I gonna
you
beat
inspired
that?
me.
I'm grateful for that, sis. I also, it's meaningful when you're seen for something that you've worked really fucking hard on. And the little pieces that I don't think people pay attention to, when you hear them, like, oh, I seen the way that you did this, the infrastructure, my heart is like, oh my God, someone recognized that. Like, I spent a lot of time there.
Yeah.
So I say that to say thank you. Okay, to talk about your brand. Oh my God. This is a safe space. First of all, I think when I look at your content, your branding, it is very authentic. It's real. I feel like there's a lot of creators who you can clock like, As soon as the cameras run, that's when you put on this facade. I don't feel that with you. And I
Wow.
think your brand also reflects who you are in real life, which is, I think, it's a pretty good thing to have. The other thing about your content, I think it's also super empowering. It's motivational, it's informative, it's educational, and it ain't here for no bullshit. It's real. And I think, you know, when we are consumers of social media, sometimes it's easy to take things on and take it personal and then go to a really negative space. There's no way you're going to come on this Queen's page and feel that unless you're a troll. And I think that that speaks volume to the intention behind what you share.
Yeah.
I mean, and also, do we even have to say your brand is also very fashionable? It don't get no better, baby.
Oh, the girls are sitting.
It
Can I
don't
just
get
say?
no better.
I got the memo. It was bring your kids to work day. And so I did. But go on.
No, I think that that's one of the biggest things about your brand, right? It's not a molded brand. Like me, I have 3 colors and that's it. You are a world of color. You are literally like it's so expansive, it's so beautiful, and it's very you. To know you is to also know that your brand reflects who you are.
Oh, thank you so much, sis. I receive all of that and just know like it's people like you and the folks sitting here to my right that inspire me each and every day to build a brand that is strong and makes people feel less alone in this world and connected.
Hell
So,
yeah.
I know that's right.
yeah.
All right, my turn. Okay.
Beautiful.
When I think
I don't know what this corner is going to be like.
So when I think of Punky Aloha, I think the first thing that comes to mind is inclusive. So, you know, whether it's celebrating, you know, dark brown skin bodies and different shapes and sizes, and then also advocating, right? You're advocating for causes like Palestine. You're advocating for causes like Fuck ICE, and so different things that really help people be seen, and you're talking things that are very real, like social justice issues. So I
Yeah.
love that about you. Vibrancy, like very vibrant as far as the colors go, very bold, very loud. But, you know, I love that because I'm someone who's very drawn to that kind of boisterous energy, right? And that comes through in your art. And then the last one, I would say, and don't take this the wrong way, but I say a little bougie. And when I say that, I mean high end. Like the art is very high end, like very like
Quality.
quality. Like you are competing on a world stage. Like, and then also just like you know what you won't stay at certain hotels. Like you so you know, a little bougie in that sense too. So that's what I got to say about that.
That's fair. Thank you, Crit. I'm gonna just jump in with your brand and just say that you're loud. That's your brand. No, honestly, that's like one of the best parts about your brand, though, is that you are proud and loud, and you're always speaking your truth. So I think there's no fear for you because everything you say you mean, and you back it up with facts. You're very smart. And I think a big part of your brand too is Pasifika excellence, and making sure that we know that we don't need people outside of us necessarily to validate who we are. And I think I hear you say that over and over again because you're in like spaces like Hollywood where we're still just like trying so hard to get in there. And you're always like, you know what, we don't need their validation. We just need to be our best selves. And we will show up the best way we can, and we're going to make magic that way. We don't need them for that. And I love how loud you are about that and just reminding us, you know, that we're great without it, with or without them. And I think a big part of you, too, is just you're a champion. One thing about Crit is he's loyal to the soil. And everyone who knows and loves him knows that if Crit is in your corner, you're safe. You know, you are going to be taken care of. He's going to hold you. I don't know if that fits into a brand. Like what I don't know if it does or not, but I feel that very strongly about you. You can do anything you want to do. I've watched you make magic. I've seen you be here, like feeling low, but just pull yourself up and make the most beautiful things happen for me and everyone around you. So I'd say your brand is just being magic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Spot
that.
on,
Thank you,
Shar.
Rob.
But I'm bougie.
Bougie in the best way. You know, what I meant is like, you know, you up here. That's what I meant by that. No, thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. And again, like to echo your sentiments, like all of this is possible because of the love and support that I have from the people around me. So thank you for pouring into me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just carrying on in that light of branding, right? Like, how did you build your brand? Like, well, one, do you feel like I was accurate in what I was saying about your brand? And two, how did you get there?
I mean, I appreciated everything you said. It's hard for me to celebrate myself. I think a lot of people struggle with that, but it means a lot. But I do agree with just being a champion for Pasifika art and bringing our talents out to a global stage. That's something that's always been my goal. And I just love working towards that goal every day and working on my techniques. And I really don't know how. Like, I don't know what the instructions are on how to build a brand other than just being honest and knowing what you like and not ever straying away from that. For me, it's like paying attention to the trends and seeing what people are doing, but not adhering to them, not changing who I am to fit into anything. I know who I am. I know the colors I like. I know the aesthetics I like, the messages I want to say, and I stick to it. Like, I hold firm to it, even when it's not cool, even when not everyone likes it. And I think that helps to build a world that is consistent, that people recognize. And I think that's to me the best way to build a brand is just being honest to yourself and just stick to it, no matter if it's cool or not. It will be cool eventually. It'll be cool to the right people too.
Right.
You'll attract exactly who you want to attract to you.
Yeah. Oh, that was so beautiful to hear. One of the things that I quickly connected to your art and your brand was actually a couple, like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. You had done and designed work for Utopia Washington's website.
Yes, yes.
And as soon as I saw those images, I was like, wow, look at us and all of our shapes, right? And all of our sizes and the cultural language that signals to us that we have a place to be seen beautifully in this world. It's like, oh, period. Girl, I just wanted to share that love to you. When I think about your question, Crit, it was really, really beautiful for me to hear the way that you described it, because in my head, it is so loud and it feels so messy a lot of times. Like, I struggled a lot to try to even think about the brand colors for my webpage, and then to think about aesthetics and things like and branding colors. And then I just got to a point where I decided I'm not gonna like struggle to define that. That it's okay for it to just be like kind of wild and chaotic, because one day I might feel some type of like more pull towards one type of color and or style. I think that's also why like my fashion game is always changing and adapting, because like I think what for me, what I started to really think about the stories that I want to tell, and developing my branding before I even booked a single like acting job. I was like, okay, the rebrand needs to happen. I'm gonna say I'm an actor. Before I even booked the commercial gig, I'm a model. Before I even written a script, I'm a writer, right? It was me planting the seeds for what I wanted to happen. And then how am I going to bring an audience of people along on that journey? So whether I'm facing challenges towards striving to meet the future version of myself, I get to tell that story. And I think that's part of the secret sauce that keeps people engaged in the way that I show up online. Whether or not it looks cohesive.
Yo,
It will.
No, I
The cohesion comes. It comes naturally. Very
No,
much
and I
all
think
of
that's okay. You know, my lens on building my brand came from a space of building trust first. And then I think that speaks to what you said, sis. You know, as a Samoan therapist, I'm less than 1% in the mental health field. And I don't take that lightly. Not only that, I'm a queer Samoan therapist. So you add this layer. And so when I was thinking about my brand, one, I wanted it to feel cohesive, safe, and trusting. Not fake. There's a difference, right? And I really relate to Shar when you said earlier you wanted your brand to be honest. Yes, because that's also what's most sustainable is when you speak from a place of truth. It's easier to keep up with that. It's
Very
easier to
much.
post stuff when you're telling the truth. It's
Yeah.
a lot harder when you're out here capping, making up stories. And so for me, that was the building of my brand, was starting my intentions. I didn't want it to feel like a facade. I wanted it to feel like alignment. And more than anything, now it's fun. Now I
Yeah.
can share freely without it feeling like, oh, I have to do these things.
Ooh, that's
Yeah.
so wild.
Very
Like,
much.
I'm really curious to hear from you about how your brand has shifted over time too. Because for me, my first Instagram post was my audition for MTV because I never had it. And so when they were looking for people to audition, that was how you auditioned, was by uploading why you should be chosen. So my whole Instagram for the first 2 years was just MTV, and it was like, hey guys, I mean, I kind of do that now a little bit, but it was all that, right? And it was all like, here's some free shit I got, here's some, just here's me at an
Yeah.
event, here's me, and I didn't really get to speak my truth. Now I feel like I could definitely be more strategic in the way I post, but I think the main thing for me is leading with my spirit. Like if
Yeah.
I want to speak about something that's on my mind, I'll post about it. If I want to honor the people I love, I post about it. So you will see a lot of my personal life as far as my family and my friends go. Because I love, my biggest love language is showing off my friends and my family whenever I can. And then the other thing for me is my barometer around my personal shit is, will this help someone out there who's listening or watching, right? So as far as, I'll be talking about some out there shit about, medium dick size and all this stuff. But the point of it is, like, will this help alleviate some shame that someone has around it, by normalizing
Yeah.
this, does this take away the stigma behind different I talk about, I won't necessarily talk about in front of my mom about these things, but, I put it out there because I've had a lot of young people come to me and be like, yo, this has helped me so much, so I think I always keep that in mind because you never know who's watching. But yeah, it's definitely changed over time.
To your point, though, you never know who's watching. And I
Yeah.
think on
Yeah.
my side of branding, I walk in a game of ethics because I'm also like, I want to be truthful, but I need to be protective. And that's
Yeah.
important to me as a therapist because for a professional eye, right, I don't want to have everyone accessible in my life. I don't want my wife, my family all up and through my page because in some ways that's for me. That's sacred. And I think I've had to learn which parts feel comfortable, which parts I trust to share, which parts I want to keep for myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So yeah, Shar, for you, again, going back to how has your brand shifted over time? And because now, we've talked about this in the past, like your Instagram at least is focused on work, like
Yes.
art specifically, right?
Very much that, and I've always treated my Instagram as that. It's like my portfolio. It's just to show people what I do for work, and I do put some personal stuff in there just because I'm a human and I'm very connected to all the artwork I make, and there's always a very true story behind all of it and meaning, and so I share that. But as far as it, like, you're not gonna see like a personal, like, hey, it's my birthday today, like it's just me on the beach. You're never gonna see that. That's just it's just Instagram for me is work,
Yeah.
and I'm not really sure if that's. I feel like things are shifting a little bit as far as like building your brand. They want to see like what the owner is like and be silly and stuff, which is so great. I love seeing that honesty, but I just don't think you're not gonna see me. I don't know that much. I think I'm even doing less and less on Instagram just as we move along because.
But can we talk how you're doing the most on TikTok though? 'Cause
Someone
I-
commented, I have not seen your TikTok, but someone
Same.
recently was telling me, oh my God, Shar's TikTok is hilarious. And I was like, okay, I follow you on Instagram, and I was like, I ain't seen the TikTok. What am
we
I
gotta
missing
find
out
it.
on?
Yeah,
The
we gotta find that one.
TikTok, listen.
How do you show up on TikTok
The
versus Instagram?
dynamic of Instagram and TikTok is like a mullet,
Yeah.
very much so like.
a mullet?
Yes, no, like the hairstyle.
Yeah,
like
well,
Instagram is the business in the front, and then
party in the
TikTok
back.
It's the party in the
one
back.
that's the trash
Okay.
you don't
Okay.
see right
That's
away.
so
Yeah.
true.
Very much that, and like almost nobody follows me on TikTok, so I just kind of talk shit
That's
on
a
there.
lie because I've bumped into so many people and they're like, oh my God, you're on TikTok. I love your TikTok. And I'm like, but they don't know that you're punk. They're like,
No, people.
they
have,
know
like-
you as Punky
No,
Lil, but
no,
they-
I've gone out to eat many times, and people are like, "Oh, girl, I've seen your TikToks," and they have no mention of artwork or anything.
Okay.
I love it. I love that.
Is that the spicy side of you on TikTok?
that's just regular me. I think that's just really the part that doesn't feel appropriate when you're sharing things like, you know, sensitive subjects or like deep, meaningful art, or even just silly art, whatever, that feels very separate from who I am, just like, you know, day to day, just talking,
I relate to
running my
that so
mouth.
much because I be talking about trauma on my shit, you know, and then here I come like, so look at me on the beach today.
Very
Like,
much
bitch, you
that.
were just talking about generational trauma. Like, wait a
You
minute.
need a space for that, though. I think that's what it is I feel like I need a space to do stupid shit that just
That's a safe outlet that doesn't get mixed up in the Instagram
very
of it
much
all.
that. Yeah, it's just, it says in my bio, just here to make bad TikToks. It's not about my art. It's
I don't
a
know,
waste
Shar.
of time. It's a
After
waste
this,
of my time.
there might be a lot more people following you after this.
Don't do it.
No, I want to go back to, like, you know, and I'm being silly with it, but like when I call you bougie, right? I mean, Shar wasn't always like this very, you know, curated. I don't want to say well put together.
You know,
but, like,
you're laughing because you know I'm not. Oh my
No.
God.
I mean, I'm saying in the past, like, you know, I've heard of you getting into bar fights and fucking hiding in the bushes. And shit.
Hiding in the bushes.
Oh.
Can we talk a little? No, I'm really interested how you pivot, like how, because you know there's some people out in the streets who know you as that Shar, right?
It's wild to think that there are some people out in this world walking around knowing that version of me, and it always freaks me out because I mean, to be so for real, like I had a period in my life that I call the dark ages, and it was a big struggle time for me, and that's like, I think that's just the part I just never really share because it's called growth, right? Like I'm not that person anymore. I'm not ashamed of it at all, but I'm not her anymore. So I think because my brand started after I had healed, after I had gone to school, got my degree, you know, I had a second child, like that part of me just it's not really there anymore. So I think people are always shocked when I say something like, you know, a little bit out of pocket or something, because I'm still inside probably
She's all the way out of pocket. Because really, she's still out of pocket.
Very naturally, I cuss like a sailor, and I got, you know, I'm not perfect, but that doesn't need to be on my Instagram, you know, but I will never deny that part of myself, you know.
I think sometimes when we do talk about how much of our personal selves, going back to like a lot of brands or sponsors are starting to like that more because it humanizes us, right? And so I guess, are there parts of you that you're kind of scared to share on Instagram or for everyone?
Yes, I'll share it right here for everyone.
What are your boundaries? Where do you feel like you draw the line around like what should stay private? Right? I think is a better. Yeah.
And that can be across TikTok as well. Like, where do you, how much of your personal
sure.
do you?
I think some things, like, I won't share certain things, like, about my family situation, like my immediate family situation, anything that I feel I need to do to protect my kids and their dad, who I love very much. But, you know, I just don't think that things in that world don't need to be shared. I'm not into like the whole like getting more views by sharing too much trauma unless it's helping you or you think it's helping someone else. If you're just trying to help your views, I think that's misguided and might not be healthy for me to do. So I guess there's some things like that. I'm pretty open. I don't know. About most things, I think.
I like to think of my social media one kind of like as a journal of my life in some ways, right? There is a part of me that is like, yes, brand and business, but like, and my mentor, shout out to Nicole, helped me really seep into the mindset, like I am my business, right? Like as someone that is a solopreneur and creative, right? Host and all of the things. So like everything I do is a representation of how I can not only manage myself, but manage how I can deal in contracts and negotiations and things like that. But it can also draw from like a very real life experience. And so I like to also document that on social media in a way to help inspire others. And also be able to reflect back on how fucking far I came, because like
Yeah,
there was
very
no
much.
fucking playbook for any of this shit.
Very much.
For me, and so one of the things that I'm also very like cognizant of right now in this day and age, specifically with the like demonization of trans folks, is like one, like geolocation and like how much of like my information is out there. Shout out to like websites and apps like Delete Me that help, you know, to filter out personal things about you, so you can avoid getting like stalked and things like that. Because I also was dating someone at one time that would use my social media to weaponize me through our relationship, because he kept thinking like I was deceiving him or saying I was here when I told him I was somewhere else. And I'm like, that is my work life, right? In a lot of ways. So yeah, no. I'm also really protective about the young people around me, because like my nieces and nephews, there was a time where I would love to like post about them. And so now I'm mindful of like if they're like under 18 to like, you know, allow them to have their agency around when they post online, or their parents to decide for them. So
Or ask
that's
for their
another
permission
boundary.
too,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
or ask for their permission.
Yeah, I'm glad you talked about like protecting your loved ones. I'm also curious about how much of you already spoke about it, Vi, how you don't post your wife, or you know, you don't want anybody getting into that. What about you, Donato? I know you recently in love. Like, how did you decide when to kind of do that? You know how people call it a what do they call it again?
Soft launch.
Yeah, soft launch. That's it. Yeah. But it's not that soft anymore.
launch
Yeah.
was hot. Well, here's the thing. I thought when I posted that photo that was a soft launch.
No, girl.
And everybody was like, no, girl. Once you post a picture with them,
Yeah.
it's a hard launch.
Hard
So
launch.
I misunderstood the assignment.
Yeah.
I was kind of just like teasing that, like, oh, yeah, this is possibly just like a friend. Like, nothing's happening here. I did post him in a group photo in the past before I posted him in a photo of just me and him. So
That was the soft launch.
I thought I was like building it out. I was like, oh, I want people to be like, oh, who is this new friend? It must be someone important to them, before they ever found out that like we were romantically like this. Yeah, so I thought I was just teasing out the story, but everybody was like, oh no, girl.
You gave us the conclusion.
What about that photo made you
happily ever
think?
after?
I mean, yeah, we were in a tent.
Hello.
So there we go. Well, that's
It's
the
my
whole
fault.
story.
But yeah, there are things about like when I'm dating people that I'm just very protective of, right? Like until I have it all figured out for myself, right? That for me is my comfort, my safety. And at the time too, I was still exploring, right? And what I mean by that, the roster was full.
Roster was rostering.
Roster was full. So I can't be soft launching, hard launching every fucking day of the week if the roster keeps rotating and stays full.
Very, very
Whatever. Neither here nor there. Yeah, that was part of the reasoning. But I mean, the other thing too is like, you know, consent and yeah. I also don't want that to be the focus, but I think it's
Right.
important for other like queer and trans people to see examples of successful, beautiful trans women in love.
100%.
You know,
A
hey.
big part of I think of like that protection is it's not necessarily a lie. Like for me, it's a processed version of the truth that I get to protect. I might post a full picture with the entire family and my wife is in it, but I will not post like a full blown our wedding picture, me and wife only, because again, you're still getting testaments of the truth. I think people know I'm married.
Yeah.
They know my wife is biracial. Like that's more than enough. What y'all
Yeah.
need to see a picture for? She's married.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you felt that you've been like perceived in a way that you didn't necessarily want people to perceive you? Not that it matters, but like what are some of the things that you notice, like, oh shit, like people see me this way when that's not who I am at all?
Yeah, I think for me as a therapist, people forget that I'm human, which is where I try to find the balance of humanizing myself and showing aspects where I'm I'm at the beach, I'm reading my devotionals, or I'm shaking my ass, but you can't see the full ass. It might be a side of the ass, you know, just to humanize that I'm a real person. The other thing is, you know, when I'm speaking to Pasifika people as a therapist, that's the most important part, right? Is that I am relatable. That's what feels safe for us, that you can see me as a person before you can see me as a professional. That's typically where people will feel called to work with me in a professional setting. So, I mean, it's a balance, but nonetheless, it's important for us culturally. So, I don't know. It's not easy, but I'm learning. Yeah. You know, social media has also been a place where I can talk about things that I think a lot of Pasifika people go through within our family dynamics. My dad coming from Pongo Pongo, there's a certain approach that he had, and I share that. There's an approach that our parents, I would say, is like their way of loving us that we normalize. So when I talked about that, my parents thought I was coming for them. Like, they called me after I posted a talking video and was like, "Sweetheart, do you really feel that way?" And I'm like what? Well, you were saying like you had to go to work. It was hard for you to go to college. You felt guilty watching the kids. Yes. And I'm not saying that you guys did a poor job, but I think where I'm going with all of this is I think there was a perception that I was shit talking my parents, that I was shit talking culture, or I was downgrading their sacrifices. And that was not the case at all. If anything, it was to bring light to it as this is what we go through and this is how we move forward. This is how we show appreciation and this is how we honor that sacrifice.
Yeah. Wow. I don't struggle with that in the ways that most people might approach this question. For me, like a lot of the fear that I have about sharing myself so openly across socials is being attacked by people looking to harm me as a trans person, right? Like, and y'all, the day that MAGA talk fucking went at me, and it happened consistently for a period of like almost 4 weeks. Like I remember reaching out to him, like I am getting like viral on that side of the internet, and like there was a point where like I was starting to like just feel a lot of heavy things because I really wanted to fight everyone, but I was like, girl, realistically, you don't have the energy to be in there fighting fucking everyone. You don't have the time, right? So how can you like just redirect that energy? And then I was sitting with the idea of like, okay, should I mute the comments and like block people? And I'm like, that too is fucking exhausting. So I had to really like check in with myself and be like, okay, you know what? The people that know me and know my heart, right? They will ride with me still. And like, I think it's important for other people, right? If they say that they care about queer and trans people, to have an example of what it looks like when we are getting attacked online.
Or in any manner. But it's especially in a public platform like social media. Like that is the most important, I would say, for queer and trans folks.
Yeah. And what was really beautiful for me to see on the other side of that was so many of my friends and community like rally into like support of like transness in general. Go in on the comments, and I was like, okay, this is generative conflict and I'm here for it. I am doing my part. Stirring the pot.
How about you, Crit?
Well, for me, as far as how I'm perceived, I think just like what I said before about being seen as very very hard, you know, and so that's why I do post things that show myself. Look, I mean, this podcast, I'll be fucking crying every other damn episode. If anybody, that's I think anybody who really knows me knows I'm a fucking crybaby and I cry at everything. But the other thing too is because I do speak so freely about sex as well, and I do it in a very lighthearted way, I think people don't realize that I'm still bearing my soul for everyone to see, right? And that took me a long time to get there. And I'm speaking about things that happen in a very dark time of my life, you know? So as funny as I might make it seem, I'm still sharing like some of the most vulnerable parts of me. And I do it in a way that looks easy because I've worked hard to make it look that way, right? And to make it a safe space for others to really be a witness to. But yeah, I mean, I guess there's another question I have for everyone is around and you've kind of answered it already, but like, how has social media gotten you into trouble as well, you know? And for you, it's been a real danger, right? In my instance, very similar to Vi. Well, actually, similar but not similar, because I've been pushing people's buttons too. So, she said, not that yes from
We
Shar.
love accountability, Chris.
Right,
Go
I mean,
off. Tell us.
Listen, I will post stuff about my family who have behaved in ways that I don't really appreciate, right? And you know I'm teetering the line and I'm doing things that that could explode within my family, but I do it anyway because I'm just like, fuck y'all, you know, like, you do not care when you do shit that impacts me and my loved ones. So why should I treat you with that courtesy, right? I'm still figuring that out. Like, I know there are better ways I can deal with it. But anyway, to your point, Shar, has social media gotten you into trouble at any point?
You know, I really have not gotten like into social media drama. I see it happen a lot amongst my peers.
Oh, she loves it, by the way.
I watch it.
You-
Listen,
okay,
I'm
one-
like,
Are we sharing it in the group chat?
One thing about Shar is her finger is on the pulse when it comes to local drama.
I know what's going on.
Yes, she
Okay.
does.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
informed.
It's like, you know, it's like I'm just watching, but I don't get involved in that because I just like, I think I'm just an artist. I just like to stay in my little art studio. Me and my art friends don't have drama with each other. And like, I think the only drama or like pushback I've ever gotten always comes down to political posts.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
it. And I think because as an artist, I feel it's very much our responsibility to be up to date with politics, to speak about politics, because at its very core, and when it first started, art has been political for hundreds and
100%.
hundreds and hundreds of years. There's no escaping that. That's how we used to communicate to one another, who we knew who our leaders were. I mean, it's been a source and a tool of communication forever.
It's what
so
moves people,
I
It's a sign
feel
of
like
the
it's
times.
very much a responsibility of artists to record what is happening as they see it. And so I will speak on topics that I feel compelled to speak on. So when I think the biggest post that got me in trouble was speaking up for Palestine. That was the first time I think I had this mass exodus of followers. I had DMs from people like cussing me out, telling me they wished that I would lose my children. So, you know, like it was, or like, I hope your family and your sisters get beheaded too. It was crazy. And people saying like, I've thrown your children's book away. It used to be my kid's favorite book. And it was so, I just wasn't so used to, I wasn't used to it because I didn't think there was anything wrong about speaking up about what I was seeing. And it did rub people the wrong. Fuck ICE was another one that not a mass. I got a lot more support for that, but the bottom line is that you're just getting rid of the people that don't align with you anyways, and it makes moving forward so much easier because you're not
100%.
worried about like, oh, I'm saying something that's gonna piss someone like this person off, or they're not going to be happy with it. I'm just going to speak my truth, and then the right people will come with me, you know, and I will come with them, and it's going to be a community. And that's, I think it's more of a positive thing than anything, and you should never be afraid to speak your truth.
No, and it's a game of alignment. I mean, I think for me, speaking about oppression, speaking about marginalized communities, saying fuck ICE publicly, saying therapy is political is also how I call in people who want to work with me and how I exclude people who I'm not for. Very similar to organizations, especially Pasifika organizations, is you will know where I stand on all of these things. I don't ever want anyone to question where I stand, especially the vulnerable people that I sit with daily, because that becomes then I would feel like, you know, our souls are not meant to do this healing work together if we can't come down to fundamentals and you're questioning where I stand. Oh, no, baby. That's
we all
not
have
it.
that in common. You never have to guess where we stand on shit,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Very much.
There are specific rooms and tables I don't get invited to, and I understand why, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, there was this moment, in fact, when Trump just recently got reelected, that I had peers kind of coming out and being like, okay, guys, like, the gag is up. Like I did vote for Trump. I just want you guys all to know. And these are people who are also business owners, and that's fine. But it was in that moment I was like so surprised. I was like, oh, you fuck with Trump?
Yeah.
And I was just like, I hope and pray that no one is ever surprised by who I am and
100%.
where I stand. And I remember thinking in that moment, like, okay, I just want to continue to be loud about that. I just don't want to give people the wrong impression, you know. And no hate, you believe what you want to believe. I was just shocked.
Yeah.
I
Shar,
would
do
say.
you, this is just out of curiosity, because I feel like I have this privilege because I run my own practice. And we all operate as our own business. We are not fearful of a boss, of getting written up. Do you feel like you experience that because you also are, you know, you own your business essentially?
Sure. I think to a point, but because I work with so many large corporations,
Yeah.
you know, that you worry sometimes, like if am I saying something wrong? But ultimately, I don't know.
I don't give a
mean,
fuck.
I think for the most part, I'm my own boss, and if I lose work because I said something that means something to me, then I lose work. I find work somewhere else.
I think my thing,
Yeah.
and we've talked about it before, like, you know, you really do have to trust that your talent and your values will take you where you need to be, right? And you'll find the people who are aligned with you. You'll find the brands that are aligned with you.
Yep.
So I think that's what I'll always say to that is like lean into the abundance. You know, you say no to something that's kind of foul in that sense. You're making space for something greater to come into your life.
Always.
Yeah, but you're right. It is a little bit of a privilege, and I do want to say that I have grace, and I understand a lot of my friends who just cannot afford to lose work, so they don't feel that they can speak up.
Yeah.
And I absolutely understand that fully. I think we do have a little bit of a privilege.
Yeah, I mean, we all compromise on some level, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, where do you got to draw the line somewhere, for me at least.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, there's certain jobs, and then there's like, okay, like y'all stand for this bullshit, and that's where I'm like, yeah, I'm good on that. Okay, we got just one more question for you, Shar, before we wrap it up. I'm really curious to know, you know, you don't get involved in the drama, but everybody insists on coming to you with all the stories. What is it about you that makes everyone so safe to lay it on you? I'm really curious to know.
I'm a good listener. I love. I mean, I know that's like, okay, if we're listening to drama, that's one thing. But
Yeah.
I think because I thoroughly enjoy the tea, so I'm like there with you. I'm like,
Word.
No, she really, she be getting into it, like screaming, squealing, like.
fucking live for it. So I think it's just very much feeling like they're in community. They can feel safe. You can feel safe when you tell me everything.
Yeah.
What a fun fact.
Great to know. Punky Aloha's brand. She is safe to share the gossip and tea with. All right. No, thank you so much for coming, Shar. We appreciate you coming. Getting your hair done. Getting
my gosh.
Yo, she even wore heels. Can we get a little?
Thank you.
It says sway.
No kicks today.
All right. And on that note, bye, hoes.